Hey, oozes and bunnies. This is a preview of the most recent Party Planning, an extra podcast that the Join the Party crew makes for our Patreon. If you want to listen to the whole thing, go to patreon.com/jointhepartypod. Check out this preview.
Please, sir, I want some more tier lists.
I'm glad we're doing this. I'm glad we're all here, the four of us. I feel like we're having an intervention for Brandon.
Yeah.
And saying, all right, hold on, wait, I have to take out my letter. Hold on, open it up.
Why,
Remember, you
sir?
can't be accusatory when you're doing the intervention.
Right, okay.
You have to say
I
how it
statements.
makes you feel,
Yeah.
not what Brandon did to you that was wrong.
Brandon, it makes me feel insane that you think things from the Northeast are rich people things.
It makes me feel hungry because I need more tier lists.
It makes me feel like you're crazy and I hate it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Party Planning, where this is another one of those things where I talk about crazy shit, I think.
Yeah.
Ideal.
Yeah.
Especially
So-
in tier list form. It's just
tier list
excellent
form.
content.
Yep. Today,
So,
we're
Brandon,
doing rich people things. Whee!
Oh, Brandon.
What were you going to say, Amanda?
I was going to say that your unique opinions creating such fodder for our business does mean that I think you can deduct your therapy bills as an expense. I'm no accountant, but just consider it.
I think it's only if he talks about, like, not any of his interpersonal relationships,
Yes,
not
yes.
like, you know.
Or if 1/3 of a given therapy session is about apples, for example, you could deduct 30%
of
of
it.
your therapy bills for that month.
I was going to say more that Brandon could just deduct his farmer's market bills from
Also that.
his
That's
taxes
research.
because that's, it's both research and sustaining the insanity.
Yeah. I think IRS, if you're listening, stop, and I'll do that.
Great.
Imagine the IRS needing to expense Patreons to try to catch people in tax fraud.
We
take
just
it.
recorded an episode of Spirits, and I said, like an IRS tax collector, but in a positive way. And Amanda said,
That's after I said it's giving spreadsheet over and over again, and I
Yeah.
can almost feel Eric cringing from the other room.
I was saying this before because the episode of Join the Party has already come out where we talked about the two the people who created Rome
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
Romulus and Remus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I made a joke about it. And I
Yeah.
just like seeing, like, passing through the blood-brain barrier, things that end up at Join the Party and things that end up on Spirits and how they're related.
Nice.
It's like it's like half of the shows on one or the other.
Yeah. But functionally works. Okay, can I give some context for this?
No, I'm gonna do it. You just kept talking.
All right,
He's
you
the
give
host.
you give
Eric.
context, but I remember I have some history I would like to share.
Oh, you could. Okay, yeah. You could share the
Brandon's
history. I'm gonna
cowboy.
tell you what we're doing today. Today
Yeah.
we are making a tier list of rich people things. So we have a couple tasks that we have to do. One is we have to name our tiers, but two, I'm going to share a list of pre-prepared list of rich people things that I think are things that rich people do.
Okay.
And first, I want you to tell me yes or no. Is that a rich person thing? And then
Great.
two, we're gonna put them in a tier list.
Okay, so the tier list is not, yes, obviously this is a rich person thing, to Brandon, you're crazy. It's, we're saying yes or no to whether or not it's rich people thing and then ranking them about how much we like it.
Yes. I mean, we
Gotcha.
could add like a this isn't a rich people thing tier if we want and just
Okay,
dump
No,
that
no,
on
that
there.
would be half the list. We
No,
can't do
I
that.
want that. I think that the
I
blue
agree.
one, the blue tier should be
Brandon,
the,
you're
the whole
crazy.
bottom.
Brandon, you're wrong.
Brandon, this is just things that happen in the Northeast.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
So we already have Brandon, you're wrong.
Great.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
I thought like the top one would be like the S tier would be like that's rich.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
So is the ranking?
Wait, it can't be, oh, that's rich. It has to be
How do you make that? How do you type that
with
out?
an H.
H's.
Oh, okay.
H's. Ah, that's rich.
I like that.
Because the other one is, aw.
Oh, that's so cute that
Aw,
Larry
that's
Ellison
so
does that.
Rich.
What is the ranking system here? Like, if the high, are we going from best to things we wish we would do to things we
Yeah.
don't want to do?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, because rich people do crazy shit a lot of the time, so
Yeah.
I
Well-
think that's great.
Well, you'll see, but I'm not gonna be like, buy a yacht.
Yeah, no, I figured.
Yeah, okay.
I think
So-
this is important to say now that we have the brand new You're Wrong tier,
Mhm.
is that this has been a running joke on Join the Party for so long.
Campaign 2.
In the first arc of campaign 2, when we are dealing with like the cousins who live in Laketown City, in the Laketon district,
The first episode, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
one of the first episodes I introduced that their hideout is this boathouse,
Mhm.
and Brandon's like, so they're rich, and I'm like, no. What are you talking about?
No.
And that's when I realized Brandon thinks anything that's on the water is for rich people.
Yes.
Not anything, but we'll get there.
Okay. So this has been a long time coming that we can finally parse out what Brandon thinks are for rich people.
Several
Mhm.
years.
Hmm. And if you do have anything you want to add, maybe I'll let you add some things as we go. But
Okay.
I think for now, let's name our other tiers here, and then we'll keep going. What do we think is the A tier name?
Bougie.
That's good.
Yeah, I like that. It's like it's good, but has rich people connotations, which holds us back.
Now, is that how you spell bougie?
It sure
think
is.
so.
You nailed it.
Okay,
That's good. I have an idea for the third one, which is sounds fun, but not worth it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
This could be, we say a lot here at Multitude that it's not worth the squeeze, which is like it's harder than it is. So this could be like it's more of a flex than actually a fun thing, or it's really expensive just to do a regular amount of fun.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it should be number 3.
And then may I suggest for the final one here, that's rich person brain rot.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very good, Julia.
Elon
you.
Musk would do this.
Yes. Like someone convinced them that this is a good
Yeah.
idea because they're rich and they can do that.
Incredible.
I think we've talked about him a little bit on this show before, but just following Dye Workwear on Twitter is the only good thing that's on Twitter. He's this men's fashion guy, and he spends most of his time on Elon Musk's Twitter fighting chuds and burning them. So, like, just describing to these, like, Elon Musk fanboys and right-wing idiots that, like, they like tight pants and that makes them look bad, and that's something that came from like quote unquote metrosexual culture in the 90s is very funny to me. So it's like, the guy who runs Nvidia, the chip company that's so incredibly popular and has a very, very high stock price, he always wears a leather jacket. Like he has the outfit that makes him look like a greaser, and it's crazy.
All he wears.
And now Mark Zuckerberg looks like a Gen Z high schooler.
That is our billionaire quota for the day.
Ooh, we've said
hit
too many
Elon
billionaires'
Musk and
names.
Mark Zuckerberg.
He looks like a Gen Z. He looks like someone's 16-year-old son now.
Yes. And now we can't talk about them anymore.
Okay.
We're literally doing rich people things. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to talk about them. Let's move into our
Okay.
first thing. I'm going to start you off easy with a classic rich person thing. Après ski.
Après
ski.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
So, après ski, my understanding is that it is a genre of like fashion, but also activities. You know how resort wear is like a type of fashion show where like designers will be like, okay, so when you, a relatable person, jet to like Mallorca in February, this is what you're going to wear. Après ski is like you're skiing in Switzerland, but then you like sit down and have a chic little meal in like a lodge wearing like a fur.
At like the top of the mountain where there's
Yeah,
a bit,
yeah,
and
yeah.
one whole wall of the cabin is glass so you can look at everything.
Okay.
Yes.
It literally means after ski.
Yes. In
Great.
Actually, Brandon's just saying everything that happens after skiing is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
My vote then, having just heard what was described to me, is sounds fun but not worth it.
Well, you got to tell me if it's a rich person thing or not first.
Yeah, I think that's a
Definitely
rich
rich
person.
person.
Okay.
Certainly.
Now this is conditional because Brandon does not know what snow looks like. But we are telling you that that's true. This is a rich person thing.
I think
My
that's-
vote is also tainted by the fact that I don't like winter sports like skiing or snowboarding or anything like that. So That's why I'm going sounds fun, not worth it.
But Julia, this is nothing about the skiing. This is about
Yes.
going to the place where maybe one of you, or if you're in a group of 5 rich person couples, 3 of you might go skiing and the rest of you only do this.
Like après
Yeah.
ski is like a hot tub or like a charcuterie board on a patio overlooking a mountain. So I would call this bougie. Number one, because it is unnecessary French, which in my opinion just elevates it one more tier. But also because you can be poor but do this because you want to look rich. And to me, that is a real core of bouginess. Like, it sounds really nice to like have a rosé, you know, at like 3 p.m. and look at a mountain while other people ski. That sounds great, but it's
Yeah.
bougie as hell to call it après ski.
Yes.
I'm on the
Okay.
cusp here with Julia and you between bougie and sounds fun but not worth it. I'm going to go with sounds fun or not worth it because there are increasingly fewer and fewer places to do this because of global warming. And also now the more traditional places like Salt Lake City or like Vail or in
Yeah,
places
yeah.
in Colorado. Like, you
Yeah.
can't do this in the United States anymore because I think we've talked about the Hamptonization of this is the version of that in the summer where now everyone goes to the Hamptons and they make TikToks about it.
Uh-huh.
This being the other side of the coin, I think this is now you have to go to literal Switzerland in the middle of nowhere and take a helicopter there to do something that maybe you were able to do 50 years ago
I see.
before winter sports was in this arrangement.
It's
Yeah.
so bougie, it's been cheapened by the proletariat, and therefore it's been demoted one. Tier.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did it, folks.
Amanda
I-
gets the assignment.
Incredible.
I would say, like, if Brandon had put skiing on here, I would have said, Brandon, you're wrong, and poor, because apparently he added that. I just saw that on the screen. But this one, yeah, I'm going to say sounds fun, not worth it, because having to travel to go to a place like that and then do the bougie thing that you do after you're supposed to be doing a sport does not sound like appealing to me at the
It's
end
the
of the
brunch
day.
effect, right? Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you try to have a rosé on a patio at 4 p.m. in Vail, I'm sure
Amanda,
it's
don't
very.
take. Did you
yeah.
see my list? What are you doing?
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Next option here, folks. Again, these are the warm ups. These are the warm ups.
Okay.
This is just sailing on a sailboat.
Oh.
I don't think this is a rich person thing.
I think sailing, we will talk about other water stuff in a little bit, but I think that there is still a culture of rich people doing sailboats.
Got 1-1.
Amanda, do you think it's a
Amanda,
rich
you're the
person thing?
tiebreaker. Is it a rich person thing?
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, this is
Can-
not. Okay. Give me your cases, Julia. You first.
My case is rich people own sailboats, but don't sail those sailboats. And I know that
Yeah.
because my cousin's boyfriend is a professional like sailor of ships for rich
Yes,
people who are
right.
like, oh, I want you to bring my ship down from New York to Bermuda. Chop
I
chop.
forget, Julia knows actual barnacle sailors and
I do.
merchant marines. That's right.
He recently won one of those sailing competitions from New York to Bermuda. Like he
Cute.
won the race for his category.
I'm
very
with
excited.
I have now flipped over to Julia. Julia has identified the syntax of Brandon's point, which is that the actual sailing of the sailboat is something that is not something that rich people do.
Mhm.
I
Okay,
concur.
I hear your argument, and unfortunately, you're all wrong. It is a rich person thing because we have motors. Why the fuck would you have a sail when you have a motor?
No. The motor is for not rich people. the sailing is to get seamen to sail you.
Eric,
to sail
you can't say that on this podcast.
Oh my god.
Brandon, just cut off the preview for the main feed before 13:28. Sailing is hard labor. To me, it screams of like waspiness or the Kennedys of like, oh, we're doing the thing that's harder not because we need to, but because we want to feel salt of the earth.
Yeah.
And so for me, sounds fun but not worth it. Or Brando, you're wrong. And people sail a sailboat because, like, it's a thing that they want to do. I don't know. To me, this has got a sort of like Martha's Vineyard tinge that I'm not finding relatable.
Yeah, my opinion is that if there's something that we invented to solve a problem, but then you continue to do that thing, it's a rich person thing.
Do you know what it's like? It's like Prince Philip being really into the kind of horse cart racing that's
Yeah.
really difficult and weird.
Yeah, but we're talking about people who were virile in the 60s. Like, we're here in 2024 with guy who wears leather jacket because he makes cards for gaming.
I don't know. I mean, everyone I know who like uses a boat to get somewhere or to fish, it's a motorboat or a rowboat because like those are easier and don't need to depend on the winds and looking out and saying, Bertram, what are the winds like today? And then Bertram tells you, and then like Julia's cousin actually sails your boat. So
I think
Yeah.
Maybe
obviously we have lost it. It's not a rich person thing 2-1, but I think Amanda and I have brought a good point.
That's fine. I think we could put this in rich person brain rot if we
Yes,
wanted to.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
But
You don't, but that's a ranking. You don't like sailing?
well, even if we decide that it's not actually a rich person thing, I'm okay to compromise.
I've come around to Amanda, and I think we should put in rich person brain rot because
Yeah.
they are doing the sailing, but now they need someone else to do it, and it's nonsense.
Sailing
Yeah.
when you could be yachting.
I will say Brandon used a specific phrase here, which is sailing on a sailboat rather than sailing a sailboat.
Yeah.
So you're not doing the action, you are just a passenger, rich person brain rot.
Let's do
That's
rich
fair.
person brain rot and let's move on. I think we've acquiesced here.
Agreed.
Excellent,
Brandon?
excellent. Well, our next item on the list here, folks, a recent one, a thing that just happened, watching tennis.
Oh, that's rich person shit. My dad has been forcing this on me for such a long time. He is obsessed with tennis. He has a tennis court in his near his house. His children are obsessed with tennis. Of his second brood, his wife is obsessed with tennis. I have learned that at the U.S. Open, which ruins Queens for weeks, is where all of the rich people deals get done, and it's where rich people bump into each other. So that's literally the whole thing that's going on with like ESPN and DirecTV having a fight because they can't carry each other's DirecTV or ESPN. Disney is withholding their channels for DirecTV. They're doing it around now, one because of football and two because of the U.S. Open, so they don't run into other rich people. 100% this is a rich person thing.
Amanda, Julia,
No argument.
that's 2-1. That's a rich person thing.
Yeah,
but
I
Julia,
guess
what do you
so.
think?
I guess like I was thinking, I was like, no, it's on television. I think watching tennis live is a rich people thing, but
I think watching tennis on a television when you have things like basketball or
NASCAR.
cars going fast.
Yeah.
NASCAR. Yeah, I guess.
It's a very, I've definitely had this weaponized against me as like a middle class person of like, oh, like, do you want to play tennis? And if you don't know how, it's like, you're poor. Like it really, it's a real thing.
It's
I
okay,
did
play
take tennis lessons as a child, so maybe I'm
Oh,
biased
Julia, you're
here.
rich.
Well,
No,
because your
I'm
parents want you to
not.
be upwardly mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how to play tennis. I can play tennis.
All right,
Yeah,
it's a rich person thing.
Yeah.
Where do we want to put it on the list of is it fun or not?
I'm going with bougie.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it achieves exactly the thing that it wants to achieve, which is looking rich.
Yeah.
Remember, this is just a quality thing. Do you enjoy doing it?
I mean, why not? It's not worse than other things.
If someone
Go
else
you
is
are in the
paying
sun.
for it, sure.
Yeah. If you've got a box at the U.S. Open and I can drink rosé, I'll watch whatever.
I'll pay $22 for that weird melon cocktail that everyone was obsessed with.
Right. What do you think, Eric?
I just would put it in bougie. I think
Yeah.
that like this tier list also implies like there is a fixed price amount for all of these, and then it's like how fun actually is it as
Exactly.
compared
Yes,
to
correct.
you spending it and showing it to other people. So that's why I want to put it in.
Love it.
I'll say bougie, like I'm picturing like I'm getting a private car there. I'm not
Yeah.
taking the
Yes.
subway. I have a box.
wearing
People
white.
are paying for my things.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, just exactly, I think I want to emphasize that point. Only just because I want to guillotine all the rich people doesn't mean that the things that they do that are fun aren't fun
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
necessarily.
Well said.
Yeah,
And Brandon,
for
may I say your picks 3 for 3. Excellent job.
These are all great. I'm
So
loving
far,
these.
so good.
This is good.
Well, I think we're gonna get out of the warm ups here and really get into the nitty gritty here.
I'm really worried about this.
Guys, here's the first real one: getting your furniture recovered. Is that a rich person thing?
That was great. My favorite part was the accent work. If you like that, you gotta hear the rest of party planning by joining the Patreon at patreon.com/jointhepartypod.